kid out there that's doing this amazing thing.
For sure.
And you guys can just have to look at it. Don't get lazy. But yeah, no, I have people coming in. It's like they do, when they do, what is it called? There is this thing where the Sonoma County best of whatever, best of Sonoma. And somebody told me, hey man, I've been trying to look for you on the best of Sonoma County, like for all the, I guess to have like a categories of personal trainers and all this. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, yeah man, I don't see you there. And I was like, how do you get there? So I started investigating, right? I started investigating, and I'm like, I ended up getting a hold of whoever puts this thing together. I was like, hey, how did this work? Well, you have to put your name on it. And I was like, so I have to put my name on it, so which means I have to tell my own clients to go and vote for me. I was like, what's the point of that? It's like going to
extra work.
I was like, that's too much work. It's like going to one of those tournaments and I win the belt, but there's only 2 people. It's like, dude, it was only you and this guy. You know what I mean? When you go to those, I used to go to those jiu-jitsu tournaments, and they'll be like, oh, we're gonna be giving out a belt, and I will look at the brackets, and they'll be like only 2 people, and you'll be like, doesn't matter. I win.
It's not a real belt.
I win or I lose. I'm still second place.
Yeah.
Because only 2 of us.
Big fish
so
in small pond.
Yeah. So it's like doesn't work. So when they're telling me about it, I was like, nah. I was like, no, thank you. It's too much work.
They're using your name. Basically.
Yes, I don't want to be telling my clients, hey, go vote for me. I don't want to be putting anything that has to do with people come out and vote for me. Hey, listen, if you guys think I'm a best trainer, I'm a good trainer, I want you guys to do it for yourself. Not because I'm asking you.
Dude, it's gonna take.
I'm not gonna ask you. I'm not gonna ask you to go
places.
No, I don't. I'm not into that, man. I grew up in an environment where boxing, especially in boxing competitions, you lose. There's no medal. We're not giving you a medal. No, screw you. You lost. Go back and work. There's no participation medal, and that's why a lot of people will say, why you did boxing? Why? Because you can play baseball, you can play soccer, you can play football, but you can never play boxing. Yeah. Because it shows in the ring, bro. If you don't train, if you fight, you get your ass kicked.
Fuck yeah.
So it will show you.
And they said Teddy Atlas, it's the chamber of truth or something like that.
It's like on
ring never lies.
On soccer, there's 10 people. What is it? 10 people, 12 people? I don't even know how many people on the team. But you have to remember, I can put 20%, and the rest of them, they can put 80. That guy can put 100. The guy can put 30. Can put and thus it shows. It shows who's putting more and who shows who's gonna go ahead of everybody. It's like, but at the end of the day, they all get a medal. I remember one of my clients, Kay, came in and he wanted me to hang this medal on. He said, hey coach, I want you to hang out this medal on your gym. And I'm looking at it and I was like, what, you guys got first place, second place? And the kid was like, no, we don't not even take scores. I was like, so why are you getting a medal then? He's like, why not? And I'm looking at my boy, and my boy's like, don't say anything. I was like, dude, you need to teach your kid that
taking losses.
Life is not gonna be giving out medals. Yeah. The day he gets fired, he wants to get fired from work, and they're gonna give him a recognition because he got fired. Well, you're getting fired by that. I was like, bro, you need to teach him life, because life, life is the hardest thing you're gonna go through, and if you're not ready for it, hey man, there's nobody else. Nobody else gonna come to save you. And that's what is happening right now with all this, with all this.
No one is coming to save anybody.
With this COVID, man, and
so Subway don't get no love.
No man, nobody get no love. No man, people are waiting and people are desperate because we're not opening and it just sucks, man.
Yeah.
That everybody's going through a.
There's something, Everybody's got to fight.
Everybody got to fight, man.
Do you remember your first fight?
Yes. I got my ass kicked.
Really? How old were you?
I was, I think I was like 13, 14.
So you've been training for a little bit? You've been training for a few years, too.
Yeah, and I remember we used to train at, this is the time with double punches. It just started.
Okay.
Double punches, it was in the garage. And we ended up at this garage.
Double punches? What is that?
It's the double punches. It's the first boxing gym in Santa Rosa. One of the oldest. I think now is running. I would say maybe close to 30 plus.
Is it still there?
20 plus years, yeah.
Damn.
30 plus years.
Shout out to them. What is it again?
Double punches.
Double punches. Shout out to Double Punches. Yeah, go.
Coach,
everybody out there, check it out.
Richard Lopez.
Okay.
I remember like my first fight. I got my butt kick and it was.
Well, so how much you weigh? Like a 125?
Oh no! I was like, I was fighting at 110.
110.
110.
Woo. Yeah.
110, and I remember.
Dude, I was probably 110 in like.
I got my.
5th grade.
You know, I got my butt kick, and my first couple of fights, I lost them all. To the point that I quit. You know, I was like, this is
lost them.
I lost them all, so I was like,
did you get knocked out ever?
No. Well, yeah, I got knocked out, but it was more on training, not on competition. On competition, I would just get lightheaded. Somebody would come in with a right uppercut.
Yeah, what did that fool come in with? Did he just mess you up that whole round?
Yeah, and it was just. I'm not a big dude. I'm like 5'5", and I fought this kid from Oakland.
5'5", 110.
I fought this kid from Oakland, and this kid was like, at least was like, 5'9", 6 feet, and I remember like I just couldn't reach him, and he just keeps scoring his jab, his 1-2, so to the point that I'm like, oh man. I ended up losing the fight. Then I fought again in Sacramento. I lost again. I think my first 5 fights that I did, I lost them all. And I remember like I quit. I didn't want to do it no more because it gets to the point. I'm like, man, I'm losing these fights. What's the point of doing it? What's the point of doing it? So I remember, you know, it's one of those times when you have to sit down and think and dig deep, man, and be like, why are you losing these fights? Well, I was what I was doing wrong is that, you know, I wanted to be a fighter, but not because I wanted to be a fighter. It was more because I like the attention that you get out of it. You know, from people be like, oh, he knows how to box. Oh, he knows how to box. He's a boxer. I like the attention. So.
At what age was this?
I was at 13, 14. So by the time I got back, I think I stopped for 5 months.
That's a good thought to have as a 13-year-old.
I think I stopped for 6 months.
That's a fucking retarded thought.
And I went back, and I remember I went back and I started training again. And at the time, I didn't come back to the same gym though. I didn't come back at Double Punches. I come back at this other gym because I was so embarrassed to come back at Double Punches because I quit. So I'm like, man, I'm not going back to the gym. So I ended up going to another gym, Felix Reyes, which is another trainer, but he will train nothing but professionals.
Ooh.
And I remember, man, going to the gym and
do you know any of the pros?
I didn't know none of the pros, but I knew that a lot of those pros in there, they were like one, Sebastian Valdez at the time, he was like ranked number 6, and he was California, Oregon, and Nevada, and Texas champion. And at 147, and I remember like going into the gym and started training there, and man, I started doing sparring with a lot of the professionals. Well, it was the most sad thing to do because I remember.
Hell yeah, that's probably the best thing ever now.
It is, but I would get my ass kicked all the time. So
but you were 13.
So I will never win at, even though they were not going hard, but there was only me and this other guy.
Like you could see the levels?
Yeah, that were on the same size, and they were using us as pretty much as the
punching bag.
Punching bag. I mean, all right, you guys gonna be the punching bag, so we will be the ones using as a punching bag. So we will go, and then I remember like we will get we will spar with those guys, and we will usually get our butt kicked.
Yeah. How we doing?
And but it was like I remember like seeing those.
Is there already 2?
No. Oh. So and I remember like seeing us getting beat up, but when I started competing, it was a little bit much easier now because on the back of my head, whoever I train with, I used to be like, there is no way that you're getting your butt kicked by a professional. So if I get my butt kicked by a professional and you don't, there's no way you can beat me. And so that mentality, man, it was just mentality. And to be honest, having that mentality, that's what it helped me to start winning a lot of these matches, boxing matches. And you know, there were times where I'm like, I will have to dig deep. I remember this one time, it's just a funny story. Like, I remember I got so cocky, really cocky, because I was winning a lot of my matches. And I was supposed to come in, I was supposed to fight at 120. And we're in San Francisco. I remember I showed up and everybody knows who I am.
You were light as a feather.
Everybody knows who I am, and I showed up and I jumped on the scale. And I'm 137.
Ooh.
137. That's 17 pounds.
You hit, yeah.
Man, I seen the frustration, the disappointment of my coach.
You ate a bunch of McDonald's like, that day. What'd you eat? What'd you eat?
I love tacos.
Ooh.
So I'm like, I remember like, we went and bought plastic bags.
That's like Yoel Romero or something.
Well, yeah, we bought plastic bag, and I started running in San Francisco. They gave me 3 hours. They were there like, listen, if you can come down to 127, that guy is willing to fight you at 127. Man, and I remember I'm running in this is my first time.
I can't believe you're running before a fight.
I'm running in Golden Gate Bridge.
No, that's pretty
I'm running in Golden Gate Bridge to make the way. I make the 125. I'm so dehydrated.
Did you throw up? Did you make yourself
after the fight?
Oh,
I'm so dehydrated. I remember, like, this kid put a whooping on me, but I was more disappointed that not because he kicked my ass. I was disappointed that I quit because I was so tired that my body was just like shut down. I couldn't do it no more. And I remember, and this one we're in the Cow Palace, and this is for the Golden Gloves. And then I remember like, oh man, I lost my first match, and this is a tournament that is a 3-day tournament. Oh. And I remember
you already got eliminated?
I got eliminated.
Oh my.
And I'm like, shit. And I'm coming back home. I come back home and I'm like so disappointed because I was like 17 pounds on the weight limit. I was like, and
no.
And I
weight limit is everything.
I remember after that,
I don't get why people don't just fight like at their weight. Like you're like 130. Like why didn't you?
That would be nice.
You know,
a lot of the people too.
You just didn't know you were 130 or something. Like you were just.
Nah, I was just. I think I was just disciplined, and I think at the time I was 17 years old, and I was into girls now, and I was partying and summertime and.
So did you ever want to be pro, or did you ever try to go pro or go pro?
To be honest, like, yeah, you know, it crossed your mind because especially at the gym that I train at, you know, I got to travel to see like Fernando Vargas, Mikey Garcia, and all those dudes fighting, and we traveled to go see to their gyms down in Oxnard and do training up there. But it was a really chill thing to do, but it was like. So when I came back and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go pro and I'm gonna do to become a professional boxer. You know, it's one of those things where you have to stay disciplined. 1 month of not training, 1 week turned into 2 weeks, 2 weeks turned into 1 month, 1 month turns into 2 months. So when that happening is, you know, I kind of. You know, I graduated from high school. I graduated from high school. I knew that I wasn't gonna go to college, so I was like, hey man, I wanna get me 2 jobs. Both of those jobs were dishwashing, so I got 2 dishwasher jobs, and I'm like, you know what? I started making a little bit of dough on the side, making money on the side. That I was like, this is good. Well,
scrubbing,
and that ended up taking me out of the boxing. So that kicked me out of the boxing, but the thing is...
But you kind of let it, right?
Yeah, I kind of let it get to me.
It's always that.
And I remember, you know, that 2 years of just sitting at home and eating and
maybe it just wasn't, like, maybe you just didn't want to be a fighter.
Nah, it was like, it was one of those things where I'm like, whatever. And then I ended up
doesn't mean you didn't know how to fight.
Nah, I ended up meeting up one random dude that he was, hey man, I'm doing MMA. What the fuck is MMA? He started showing me like some videos, all the videos that they're doing. I was like, dude, I don't want to have some sweaty ass dude on top of me. Why would I want to do that? Why don't you just stand up?
Sexual threat.
Yeah, I was like, why don't you just stand up and fight? And they were like, oh man, you need to try it. And I remember I ended up at a gym, and everybody, from kids that they were 10 years old to older dudes that were on their 80s, they were all kicking my butt. Oof. It was the most depressing thing, getting my butt kicked by a 10-year-old to an 80-year-old guy. I was like, man. Oof. And I remember like,
it's just because they know the technique.
They knew the technique, and
I ended
up meeting this dude in Napa, Saul, and he said, hey man, since you like this, why don't you come with me and train I ended up in Concord training with Sister Gracie.
Oh, word.
Yeah, and I started
some jiu-jitsu?
Started doing jiu-jitsu 2002. Then from training out there, you know, I met Nick Diaz,
really?
Shields. A lot of those guys.
I've been thinking about going to the gym
before too. Those guys, even before they were in the UFC, they were just some normal kids with big dreams. You know, who would have thought?
Yeah,
right?
you must have been around their age too, no?
Yeah. Some normal dudes at the same age were on the same age, and I remember I saw this dude, like, man, that everybody were afraid of. Everybody were respect. You see this guy and everybody. This guy, it was the man of the few words. Never speak to you. Never talk to you.
Who?
If he didn't, it was just like David Terrell.
Okay.
And I remember when I saw him, and